Good evening, esteemed guests, and welcome to the Aladdin run. I am Wolfman2000, also known as Danstead. That is the only planned song that I have on my list today because I cannot compete against the classics, and I certainly cannot compete against our forerunners here, Julian RX, Kalars, Joe D'Amelio, and Le Hulk. So, I admit, I have seen this run a few times, though my memories are from the other version of this game. So, it's going to be kind of interesting to compare them all. But basically, we are going to go through a number of familiar worlds, and some not-so-familiar worlds because, this was the time when video games based off of movies always had to embellish something or other. But it's basically going to be the same old story. And if you are curious about what the actual story of the movie is, well, basically, we have Jafar. Oh, well, are we about to start? I saw a timer go. No, not yet. Okay. So, yeah, basically, Jafar wants pretty much unlimited power. Try to send a servant of his, Gazim, into the Cave of Wonders, and the cave basically ate the guy alive. And so Jafar has to find this diamond in the rough. So who is this diamond in the rough anyway? Well, as soon as we get started, I will explain the lore and hopefully some of the tech a little bit more. As we are about to start. Welcome, everyone, to Agrabah. It is a very lively market, though we also have a bunch of guards that are trying to cause some problems. We are playing as the title character, Aladdin. We are able to jump on pots, we are able to pick up a parachute and use it to glide a bunch. If you keep on mashing the button, you can actually glide farther. Since this is an any percent race, we are not going to stress about the red gems that we see throughout. I do not believe getting all of the red gems necessarily changes the ending, but in this case, they're just more of a bonus thing from what I've gathered. As we see, the guards are not necessarily the brightest out there, but we do need to be careful. If a guard takes us out, or any other obstacle, we lose that parachute, and that parachute is one of our most important tools in the game. So for those wondering if we are going to use any glitches or sequence breaks, I don't know of that many glitches, unless you want to count Abu's questionable behavior as a glitch. Abu is the monkey, by the way. There is at least one sequence break I know of that's going to happen, I'd say, in a few minutes. And everyone so far is able to zipline through the rooftops. We don't have that many more jumps until we get to the end here, where we are about to approach a boss. So, who is our boss? Why, it's a shop owner. Jump on him, and then throw an apple. Yes, you do have a projectile weapon, but it's primarily for stunning more. Get the requisite 3 or 4 jumps in, and you get to rescue the apple thief. Of course, the apple thief is actually Princess Jasmine. Every time you beat a stage, you get a chance to rest your hands, let loose, and prepare for the next journey. So, Aladdin meets Jasmine, and eventually Aladdin gets caught or something, and then is sent to the Cave of Wonders. Guess what? Aladdin is our diamond in the rough. Our goal here is to find the magic lamp. Of course, this being a video game, we're not going to find it until the very end of the level. As is tradition of a cave, there are plenty of bats, plenty of stalagmites, or is it stalactites, I forget. And of course, a big pile of treasure. But our goal is to not be tempted by the other treasure. We are allowed to rescue a magical flying carpet, though. This will prove in handy for later. Now, that sequence break I talked about is right here in the second stage of the Cave of Wonders. This stage acts like an auto-scroller. But we can potentially skip a log or two through careful gliding and damage boosts. But again, we do not want to actually lose a life. We lose our parachute. Oh! The Hulk, I did not mean for a demonstration to be given right here and now. Oh, wait, we don't lose the parachute. I could have sworn we did. That may have been on a different difficulty. But either way, that is a bit of time. Uh-oh. Abu. Infidels! You have touched the forbidden treasure! Now you shall never again see the light of day! Sorry, I had to do that at least once. So it is time to escape from the Cave of Wonders. Unfortunately, this is another auto-scroller, where we have to just wait for the platforms to align, and then keep on moving. For those that are wondering, there are a few different versions of this game, but, this is the Super Nintendo Super Stars, so of course we're going to focus on the Super Nintendo version. If you were to ever play the Genesis version of this game, you will hate this stage. And the next one. Just trust me on that. Fortunately, this one behaves rather nicely as long as you are careful. The speed moves, a little bit not as fast as our runners would like to go, but it's manageable. We can recover from most mistakes, and we get to show off a little bit. I mean, I always knew Aladdin was daring, but sometimes we gotta be careful with how daring we get. The last thing we need is to burn our parachute. Fortunately, as we've seen, you do not lose the parachute on a lost life. I genuinely could have sworn you did. Whoa! Oh. Kalars? Please be careful with the lava dives. We want our diamond in the rough to stay sharp here. Anyway, once we get through the slow auto-scroller, we get a fast one. It is time to ride our magic carpet to victory. All of the waves that come by are the same. As such, if you memorize where to position yourself, it is a guaranteed pass. For those that care about the all red gems category, I do not believe there are any red gems on this portion. So don't stress too much. Once you get through this long tunnel far enough, you escape. Thank you, Joe, for that. Julian also escapes the Cave of Wonders. Kalars does as well, and Hulk is following suit. Except there's a problem. We got kicked back into the Cave of Wonders, and now we have managed to, rescue our friend, the genie. This genie has been, let's just say, trapped in the Cave of Wonders for about 10,000 years, and as such, let's just say letting loose by having Aladdin go through an unexpected obstacle course is not necessarily the best idea here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the genie levels in almost any version of Aladdin are fun platforming challenges. Though, fun fact here, the difficulty of these segments right here, if you were to play this level casually, my understanding is the obstacles change depending on how well you've been playing. Since we are speedrunning this and we haven't lost too many lives, we get harder challenges. Right now, thank you Feasel, Julian has taken a very slight lead, Joe in second, Kalars in third, and Lahulk not that far behind, all things considered. We still have those strange flying pots to deal with, a couple of spikes, couple of balloons, but we are through. Of course, our runners want to aim to the top, so let's actually climb up. Though, Genie, I don't know if it's necessarily sanitary to walk on your tongue? I mean, I can safely say we've never had a friend like you, but I think this is a little ridiculous. Anyway, Joe takes the lead as we are now on the surprise boxes. Get on them and surprise, they drop from under you. Alright, we have hit some solid ground, but now the balloons come back. So the platforming does get a little tricky here, but we get through. And as such, more chances to rest and relax. Julian catching up as well. Now that we have burst out of the Cave of Wonders, let's, wait a second, I need to double check my notes here. Let's see, notes. Okay, I do recall that Aladdin was sent somewhere, but I don't recall if it was a pyramid like this. As I said, this is probably the one stage where the game developers chose to take some embellishments from the main movie just so we can have some additional gameplay. So we have to deal with some quicksand, we have to deal with some birds, there's always birds, more spikes, more chaotic platforming. It's a little tricky, but again, Aladdin is certainly nimble enough to avoid a lot of these traps here. And already, I believe Joe is on the third part of the pyramid, where we suddenly have conveyor belt hooks. This pyramid is certainly advanced here. The Hulk is caught up at this point. And we now have a boss. That wasn't much of a boss, was it? Abu, what did you do? Joe is in first, Julian second, Lahulk in third, Kalars is catching up. And now, you folks know what time it is. I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? Okay, I'm not gonna do the rest of it. But honestly, you folks know how this song goes. This is honestly your breather level. You get a chance to get a bunch of gems. I want to say 100 gems helps extend your health capacity, if not give you an extra life. I know it's one of the two. But as I said, this is basically your best breather yet. Because we have one major stage left. Needless to say, in this auto-scroller, placements don't change. So let's get back to the lore here. So we have just had our magic carpet ride with Princess Jasmine, but Jafar has basically said enough of that. We almost drowned, we get better, and now we have to go through Jafars Palace. The guards are back, and they are nastier than ever. Jafar wants to become the Sultan, someone who rules over Agrabah, and basically wants to use Princess Jasmine as leverage and or a wife. It's hard to tell depending on the version that you watch the most, but it works just the same. Fortunately, the platforming here, while tricky, is kind of reasonable. But stage 2, again, nasty guards, Iago trying to interfere all over. And our runners are trying to utilize their apples as best as possible to cause distractions, stunning, whatever it may take in order to get through. Joe is maintaining a wonderful pace right now. As we enter a... Okay, Iago certainly is able to work his wings quite a bit here. But now we have actual fire and brimstone. Apparently we are in some version of Hades, but isn't Hades the character who manages the place? I don't know. Disney canon is strange, especially if we bring Kingdom Hearts into it, so I am not going to even attempt it. Anyway, get through all this, pick up a red gem for fun, and then it is time for the battle against Jafar. Jafar likes to summon pots, but that's occasionally a bad idea because you can get yourself into a stun lock against Jafar and basically boop, 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 boop. That is the best pattern you can get. It doesn't look like LaHulk and Julian got those patterns, though. You want those pots. Julian gets them, and LaHulk gets them. Of course, it's not over quite yet. How many of you remember Jafar becoming a huge snake? Because now it's time to fight against this evil King Cobra. Not exactly a king yet, but at this point Jafar will stop at nothing for any type of power. By utilizing damage boosts, we are able to land on Jafar quite a number of times here. Take advantage of the, the undulations. And thus, Joe finishes in first place with a time of 13 minutes, 38 seconds. I'm right now waiting to see who LaHulk manages to come back into second, 16:55, and Julian, 16:59. So while Kalaris is finishing the battle, let me finish up the lore. So, Jafar, basically, you end up losing the battle, so to speak. But Aladdin is a diamond in the rough for a reason. So, Jafar right now has the lamp. But, let's just say you want to be careful with what you wish for. as Colars finishes 1735. GG's to everyone. Please give them all a follow. So here's an important lesson for you folks at home to pay attention to. Never wish to become a genie. Because once you do, you have phenomenal cosmic powers! Itty bitty living space. And that is the speedrun version of Aladdin. Again, please follow our forerunners, Julian RX, Colars, Joe D'Amelio, and La Hulk. Maybe follow me if you feel like I did a half-decent job. However, we are running short on time, and we kind of need to get through a lot of different games here. It's not only the holidays, but I heard that some of you liked Wild Guns. I think it's time to go back Oh, we're not going back to the West yet, so I need to double check the schedule. I may have misread it. Alright, we are now going to head over to the ring instead. Julian RX is going to continue playing with Super Punch-Out. This will be a low percent, no power punch run. I am genuinely curious about this one. So, with that in mind, folks, this is Wolfman 2000, also known as Danstead. Happy Thanksgiving to those that celebrate it. Happy Day for those that do not. Keep on grooving, and may all your stars be super and your wishes, well, better than Jafar's. Care!